I'm assuming you know what generative AI or ChatGPT is. Essentially, you ask it any question and it gives you back a relevant, fairly appropriate response. But this video is not about ChatGPT and what it can do, but this is more about how we can use generative AI to reduce cognitive overload that we find online on like websites and such through a platform called Microsoft Copilot Studio. When you go to a website to find information or to perform a certain task, you may be presented with so much information that you may get overwhelmed, confused, your eyes jump all over the page, and ultimately your brain may shut down because you still don't have the information that you're looking for. Now, this may happen because the website has a high cognitive load. What is cognitive load, you may ask? It's the amount of information our working memory can process at any given time. And cognitive overload happens when the information presented to our brain is so much more than it can handle, leading to frustrations and even abandonment of the task that you were set out to achieve. It's worth noting that per CDC, 1 in 4 people in the US have a disability, and 12.8% of those disabilities are cognitive in nature. From a user experience perspective, there's a lot of content out there that tells you why it is important to reduce cognitive overload. It's a very fascinating topic, and I'd encourage you to read upon it a bit. Now, here's something that's coming from our WCAG. What this principle says is, I need to find it easy to identify the content that I need and do not need. Information I need to know and important information stands out, or is the first thing I read and does not get lost in the noise of less important information. So how can we use generative AI and Microsoft Copilot Studio to reduce that on our websites or online content? Let's look at it through 3 simple scenarios. So imagine on one fine day, you get a speeding ticket in the mail. I know this example makes me sad also, but stick with me here for a bit. Of course, you're distraught, but your only option in many cases is to just pay it. Now, usually what we do is we'd like to go online, we go to the city's website, look for an option where we can go and make the payment and move on with our lives. Now, I don't know about you, but I usually do not go to my city's website on a regular basis. It's usually only to deal with adversities, such as a speeding ticket, that I go to my city's website. When I'm on the website, I just hope to search for the page that I'm looking for. So I enter something like pay speeding ticket or something like that, and hope that whatever comes up takes me to the page where I should be making the payment. In our example, let's go to chicago.gov and use the search bar up on the top right to search for pay speeding ticket. Now notice how when I do the search, it gives me all these different links, and the expectation is that I click through them and find the right page and make the payment. Now, in my scenario, I may be able to find the right page right away in the first couple of links, or maybe not. And that's where the frustration may start because I still haven't found the right page that I'm looking for to make the payment. And at some point, I may get frustrated and abandon this and come back on a different day to do the search again. But instead of searching for pay speeding ticket, what if I could ask a bot or a service the same question and it presents me with the most relevant information so I can just go to the page and do the task and move on with my life? So assume that Chicago.gov, the website, has a bot like this, call it a bot, virtual agent, whatever, and I will ask this question to the bot, and within a few seconds, it not only gives me a response, but it also tells me where I need to go to make an online payment. And perhaps if I cannot make an online payment, I can go to these other locations that accept payments for different types of tickets, etc. So what's interesting here is that I came to the website to perform a specific task, pay speeding ticket, and the bot helped me do that without any confusion, without any distraction. It gave me the right response, a little more information than I needed, but it enabled me to go from start to finish in one go without having me abandon the task. Since we are on the chicago.gov website, let's look at another scenario. Say you are a social worker or an activist or a renter, and you want to know to what extent a renter is protected if a property is foreclosed. In that, in case of a foreclosed property, will the renter be kicked out or can they stay, etc. Right? Now, this is not as straightforward as, oh, how do I pay a speeding ticket? This requires a lot more solid information that should be coming from the city, and anything that's presented to me should make me a lot more confident. So to find this information, of course, I do what I'm equipped to do best, which is go to the website and do the search. When I'm presented with the search results, and as I start investigating them, I notice that, I'm not getting the full picture. I'm being presented with incomplete information, or it just points me to a bunch of other web pages, and in some cases, even dead links. My search is off to not a great start. Once again, can a bot or a virtual agent just present me with the right information instead of me having to search for all of it? So assuming that our website has this bot, so if I ask this question to our bot friend, notice now how it gives me all these different options in terms of tenant protections, notice requirements, options for tenants, and enforcement and complaint process to be followed if the building owner does not follow the law. Helpful, right? Not only that, it also provides me with references so I can verify all this information and or continue researching on this topic. There's clearly a stark contrast between our traditional search experience and this bot-like experience. Traditionally, I am expected to find the information I'm looking for, whereas here, the information is proactively presented to me. Okay, let's look at our third and final scenario. And this one is a little more pleasant. It's not as saddening as, speeding tickets and foreclosed properties. So let's dive into it. Now, clearly you can see I have some bare walls behind me and I have all this art that I want to hang, but I cannot find the right equipment to mount some of my photo frames. So to find the right product, I will go to a certain website, and for our example's sake, let's go to 3M's website and try to look for something that will hold or mount photo frames heavier than 20 pounds. So of course, clearly, as a person who just searches for things, I go to the website and I search for things that I can use to mount photo frames for heavier than 20 pounds. And immediately you will see that the results are actually kind of confusing. None of these products that I'm looking for actually are associated with like mounting photo frames. And now I'm perhaps expected to kind of investigate what I'm presented with. I have all these options to the left where I can kind of start drilling down and look at products by brand or type or industry, etc., etc. And already I'm confused and lost. This is not helpful, right? Instead, you know where this is going. Can I just ask a bot, assuming this website has a bot, can I just ask that bot the same question and get the right response? So let's see what it does. So rinse and repeat. I'm just going to ask it, what kind of products can I use to mount photo frames that are heavier than 20 pounds? And immediately, within a couple of seconds, it tells me something very specific, and it says you can use 3M claw drywall picture hangers to mount photo frames that weigh more than 20 pounds. No extra information. This is exactly what I needed, and now I have an answer. And in fact, I can just, again, like click the reference link, and when I do that, it takes me to the exact web page I was looking for, and it tells me a lot more about these products. And also, in case I was interested in something that holds up to 65 pounds, I have that information as well, right? So this is very, very specific, to the point, and I'm not confused at all. I know exactly what I needed. Now I'm going to go to the store and buy this product to mount my photo frame. So in the next video, hopefully you'll have some stuff on the walls and these won't be as bare and white as you see them now. But I digress. So you may have noticed that all the information that's being presented to us, it's coming from these public facing websites, right? Chicago.gov, 3m.com. And based on our question, the right response is fetched from these websites. So how is this happening? How is the bot doing all of this? It is mind-blowingly simple. It is just us pointing to the bot to this public facing website. As simple as that. All you have to do is tell it, go to 3m.com, go to chicago.gov to find any responses to any questions that are asked, and it takes care of the rest. What it also means is that you have to make sure that any public facing website or content that you have, it should have the right responses, right? If your content itself is kind of, not really great, then the responses generated will not be good either. But assuming that you have everything on the public facing website, searching for the right response is a piece of cake now. There is so much more that we can do with Copilot Studio, and we will look at the rest of it in the coming days and weeks. But the focus of this video was how to reduce cognitive overload with Copilot Studio and just create this very streamlined, very specific experience for our users so that they are not confused or overwhelmed by what's presented, but rather they come to finish a task and they walk away with that task accomplished. So just to summarize, in this video, we looked at how something like Copilot Studio can create the right experience, a much more streamlined experience to reduce the cognitive overload for our users. And just to make sure that everything that's presented is specific and to the point so that it doesn't cause any confusion or frustration. It doesn't make the users get overwhelmed. And the task that they came to accomplish, they walk away with the task accomplished. Copilot Studio can do a lot more, and I'd love to show you more from a accessibility and user experience and just like accomplishing different types of workflows perspective. So stay tuned for more, but I would also love to get your thoughts on where you think this can go. What else can we do with this? Did this video make sense to you? Would love to get your thoughts, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you on that. Thank you for watching.